Make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll have a stock blitz. We'll have a trader review. We'll do a roll call as well for everybody that's here with me into the close. But what you can do is make sure you hit the like. Make sure you do hit the subscribe. And let's go right now. It's sector recap time today. So, wow, pretty good day overall. I mean, we did start the day kind of middling near the, and if we call up here for the NASDAQ, we were just middling around O's. It was a pretty good day overall. The market really never got to a red spot all morning. This is what we were talking about heading into the open. And I don't know if you could see it, but this blue will be post-market. This kind of brownish oranges color will be the pre, and then once we get open, and this is what we talk about, it was a nice move all day with the NASDAQ winding up just over 1%. So it's, for me, pretty hard to believe some of these runs that we've seen in the NASDAQ over the last little while. Me and Brendan were just talking about the Middle East doesn't seem to be solving itself anytime soon, and the NASDAQ kind of saying, hold my beer to this, as we'll continue to watch out for US dollar weakness possibly. Little red today with the NASDAQ making a move up 1%. Not only the NASDAQ today, but check out our friend the Spider as well, up over 1%, of course, with the S&P 500. It was we were looking today at consumer discretionary as well being held up. There's XRT coming into play again, the retail ETF. We did get some good news today surrounding Nike. Nike today, what a nice move for NKE. Again, up another 2%. Nike up 9 out of the last 10 days, creating this huge move off that bottom. Let's just go over a daily chart here for Nike. What a great move off earnings. Come on, trade ideas. No earnings today for Nike, although it shows the ES today. It was right here. It was back on the 28th of September. They came out, nice little bump up there, got to 100, and today we take that out and above the 50 period. Upside goes Nike here. Favorite 14s coming through. Some talk there from some of the housing brands coming through. Looks like teenagers away from Adidas over to Nike with some of the older generation looking at Lululemon. And that makes me think about Lulu because, again, today, wow, monster move for Lululemon today. Outperform, up 10% on an index inclusion for Lululemon, making their way over to the S&P 500, going to replace ATVI, of course, that big deal with Microsoft. And look, I mean, if my wife's watching this, she knows what I'm talking about. The minute I saw some Lululemon, how popular they were, we're like, not only are you going to buy some of these pants, but you're also going to support the stock. And that's exactly what we did. I actually changed. I should have an ETF. It's where does Sean's wife shop? So I used to buy Starbucks. I used to buy Target when they were here. That worked out quite well for us. Lululemon. Not only has it been Canada, I don't have the O Canada thing, but let's look at how well Lululemon's performed. We can have to go all the way back, but even if you just go back to $17, $57, up to $400. Brendan did that story. What if you invested $1,000 in Bitcoin when it first started? Well, Bitcoin basically started at zero. So I think the story was about $31 million, billion right now that you'd have. So that's a little different than Lulu, but Lululemon, I believe back here in 2010, came out at about $10. So 10 to 400, that ain't shabby. Whoop, oh, almost dropped my microphone there. Nice little move up there for Lululemon. That's the monthly chart. You want to see another name that was sort of helping the retail side of things today. Amazon JMP Securities outperformed market today on this stock, stamping it with a 175 price target. And of course, the story of Amazon is just as impressive as Lululemon, maybe if not more, down here, single digits all the way up. We've seen this name split, come back and forth as well. I wonder about that story that Danielle said to us today when she was on our afternoon show about just with all these splits creating so much more liquidity out there for some of these names, thus stopping some of the volatility coming through on a lot of these names. So again, let's go back to a daily chart for Amazon. I really like the name, but again, it's the XRT, which is why we're talking about that retail coming through today big time. Is Macy's off the bottom yet? Because this, yeah, kind of. Macy's is another name that if you've been watching the show, we've been talking about this at $10. this is another one of those beat up names, man. Only 438 million in cash, not good with a market cap of 3 billion. You like to see a little more cash than that. Short float 11%, earnings pretty weak at 26 cents. Their report not coming till November 16th, but it's Target that is pretty interesting to me, bouncing off that $100 level. They got some upgrades last week. TGT, uh-oh, Fabian, I forgot my water. If I can borrow you for 5 seconds to go grab one of those there today. I saw Brendan was all on these healthy chocolate bars as we got duped into Randy dropped off Snickers, Mark dropped off M&Ms. I feel like we were set up there, but right now we'll get some water to wash it all down. But there goes Target. Nice little move back to the upside. What's been really helping the retail side of things has been Walmart. There's definitely been a shift in consumer preference over to the cheaper areas because of with food inflation. So you're going to go back over areas into the cheaper retail spots. One of those names is going to be Walmart. But for me, I've actually been into some Walmarts around here. They've rebranded over the last couple of years since COVID. Little better lights, a little higher on the shelving. They're more open, at least some of the Walmarts near my place. And as you could see, it's been a nice move to the upside. Kids going back to school, get your Halloween candy either at Costco or Walmart. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight up days. I guess we get a little bit of a dip day in there around 158, but look at Walmart. I mean, back down into the 50 period or the 200 period moving average, forget about it. Nice little upside move there for Walmart starting to go. We can always look at Dollar General and some names like this. This continues to push to the downside. So still some weakness in some of these dollar names coming back in. Thank you, my friend. Shout out to the humankind right now, as we all need a little bit of hydration behind us as well. So KRE, look, as the banks come in to report, we will wait for some of these beat up banks. We talked about that. When does, well, today we got Schwab, right? SHWB, oops, SCH, there it is. WB, what is it? SCHW, why would there be a B? Oh, Schwab at the end. So Charles Schwab right there coming off 50 bucks. So a nice little day for them, up that 4.62%, definitely helping some of these regionals get going through 41 bucks, closing the day at 41.45. Schwab with a nice move. Let's see what happened today for Charles Schwab. Again, thank you so much for staying late. Real traders will stay late. Real traders will also hit the like button as we go over a couple different names here. Let's see, what did Schwab do today? 5-minute chart, please, and thank you. Chart on right now. Nice move to the upside. Again, look at that $50 mark coming into play there in the pre-market. For me, I've been burned a few too many times trying to catch earnings plays in the pre-market. So we'll stick around here, see if Schwab can't buy, get some of those dip buy opportunities again. Maybe tomorrow back into 50 and a nice move back upside there for Charles Schwab. Glug, glug, glug as we go again. Right there on that one. Where are we on Charles Schwab though? Are we near any sort of a peak? Nah. So the 50 period up here to 57. I believe we get to that. The other name that I know a lot of you like to trade, Western Alliance, WAL. Oh, the 19th. What day is today? Checks notes. The 16th today. Okay, so Thursday evening, I guess. Is it pre or post? It's post. So Thursday night, we'll get Western Alliance coming through again. And look at this, man, bouncing its head off 40 bucks. Nice little move. Do not be afraid of some of these banks. Schwab came out. They've got good reserves. They're in the play right now. Watch out for Western Alliance coming through. We already know FRCB is gone, and the KRE continues to be the ETF to watch. We had Michael Noss on earlier, and I indicated that for me, I'm kind of getting a little bit fed up. I trade stocks every single day, but the more and more that I watch out for some of these ETFs, the more and more I figure, like, why bother to stock pick? You know, I feel like it is possible to hold on to some trades for a little bit longer. And names like Meta, Google, some of the big ones, sure, if you don't want to buy the Qs, you can pretty much dip buy in some of those names, NVIDIA, AMD. But when you're talking about the iShares Russell, I mean, lower rates are going to help these smaller companies. Why? Because they're indebted, right? So when you get higher debt ratios coming through, you're going to have to look to maybe pick up some of these companies right now that can benefit from coming out of a rate cycle, right? Rate hike cycle into, hopefully, Fed pivot. Where's Jerome Powell? If he can give me a call right now, that'd be good. I want to talk to him because I feel like Fed pivot is coming through. And if it does, then we do have this 170 coming into play. Next time. No, Jerome. Hello, Jerome. Yeah. Oh, you can't talk about this? Wow, okay. All right, we'll talk about it in private. All right, see you. All right, there we go. Jerome Powell, ladies and gentlemen, of course, does not want to talk about anything that affects the markets, especially to a lowly trader like us. And of course, that was not Jerome Powell calling me. I don't know if you have to say that anymore. I think you guys know. But look at IWM. Are we not buying some down here? I mean, I feel like for myself, we got asked a question from Ian Rispetto in the chat earlier, and that was, what names maybe are we buying right now at some of these low levels? Why not dip your toes into the Russell 2000 right now? I mean, if you think this is overdone to the south side, I think it is as well. So the IWM possibly getting some action into there. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any 2 or 3 times ETFs. I'll look to you guys in the chat. Maybe there is some love down there that we can get a little bit more. Wow, shout out to Andrew. Ding, ding, ding. You know what? I'm going to put a spin in right now too. Spin 20. Let's see if we can get a win. Oh, to the Bears versus Bulls. Last week, we had one of my favorite guests. He's right here. It's Brian Shannon, right here from a VWAP fame, Anchored VWAP. He's going to come on tomorrow. We said we'd do a little bit of a Q&A. Do you guys like that idea? We'll review the sectors. We'll review earnings. We got some big earnings coming in tomorrow. We're going to call that up on Market Chameleon. We do have Benzinga going right now. Tomorrow, pre-market, we have a lot of the banks coming through. We can look at those in a minute. But get your questions. So Bears versus Bulls, I am right now tasking you, my friend, any questions that are of higher quality in nature. Put them in the chat right now. I paused there because, hey, I'm trying to think of some questions too. If you have any questions for Brian Shannon, let's get that going. Of course, one of the best CMTs. We have them all lined up, man. Forbes 30 under 30, CMTs, Bitcoins, technicians. We had also Chris Belcher coming through, over 40 years of experience. Thing is, man, I've had a couple coffees today, which is fine. That's not even a thing. I'm not really drinking a coffee on my way into work. New plan of action. I'm actually drinking this. Have you ever guys heard of this? It's AG1. It's like a vitamin kind of drink. It's green and it's all kind of nasty looking, but it tastes pretty good. AG1 it's called, right there. They reached out to my wife who's on social media for her to do some work, so I'm actually drinking some of that, and it feels pretty good. So get your vitamins and all that coming through there, as I probably read here. That AG1 stuff is poison. No, I have no idea. Did I just win on slots? You want to ask Brian, okay, what's up, Ozan? How does he feel today as he was sick last week? No, Ozan. Not a good question to ask Brian Shannon. We'll get that coming through very, very soon. Thank you so much. I'm actually going to go to live chat right now so I can see absolutely everybody. You know what? It's never too late to do this. It's my show. So we'll do a roll call. So let's see who's here right now. What's up? What's up to Zeus? What's up to Aura Alpha's right here right now? Hey, yo, Ponzi. What's up, my guy? Ponzi Fonzie's here. Chimp, what? He just took down 10,000 points. I have never, ever seen anybody, ever. If you guys know who said that, put that in the chat there for WWE fame. Rocket Ship, Rocket Ship, Rocket Ship. 10,000 points right there. Shout out to you, chimps. What's up? Shout out to YTube. Shout out to you. Finch Jane is here as well. Rocket Man is here. We winning, says Sal G. AG is the best. Oh, okay, so they know about that. Yes, sir, Wrath Kid. It's Chris Jericho, one of the best to ever do it of WWE fame, and I actually just saw him in AEW. Chris Jericho. I still get goosebumps back when I was like 17 or 18, and it's when he switched over from the NWO, which at that point was WCW. He came over into WWE. Or F at that point, and that was really cool when he hit the stage on that one. Okay, what else do you want to talk about there? Oh, coming through tomorrow. So very excited about Johnson & Johnson. Look, if they can get by some of their problems with talc, I thought that they kind of settled some of these suits, but I guess there's still some more in the background. They settled the majority of this. They did spin off Kenvue. There is some more to go. So let's hear what Johnson & Johnson has to say about everything. Again, into packaged consumer goods. you know, to me, you don't have to too much worry about Johnson & Johnson or Procter & Gamble. It's the Pepsis, it's the Cokes of the world that is all worried about these GLP-1s. We've seen Eli Lilly just go absolutely ham to the upside, as well as Novo Nordisk. These are companies that have developed that injection. It's Mounjaro, it's Ozempic, and it's all about getting that injection to lower cravings and things like that. Also having a big effect on Abbott Labs right now, ABT, and some of these companies that do the dialysis machines, because they're thinking right now that if there's less concern about your level of diabetes, then maybe you don't have to employ these machines as much. And insurance companies would much rather just give you this drug and not have to worry about the other expenditures coming through when you're lying in hospital beds and so on and so forth. It's obesity, it's for drug abuse, and who knows where these GLP-1 receptors and these drugs will come through. But look at Abbott Labs getting hit pretty good right now, back down into $90. That was that report last week. Nice move back in. I personally think it's a little overdone. We did get Pepsi to the downside. Their report came in pretty good as well. So a nice little bounce up. There's Pepsi coming down to the downside. And the beneficiary of this, look at Eli Lilly. I said it's funny because although I had $6,000 worth of this stock, I logged into my account and I was like, yes, I know we're in the money on Eli Lilly, and we were. We're up over 140%, but it was just a starter position that I put on for Eli Lilly. So I guess we must have bought it a little bit less than this down here, sub 300. We took off a whopping 1 share. So of our positions, we took off 10% just last week, but there goes Eli Lilly up and away for that name today. Communication services, a nice runner today, with Meta making a move up 2%. Getting right back into those levels. It's had a hard time upside at 327 to come through is Meta. The big bank that I'm looking for tomorrow, we talked about this market cap wise, is going to be Bank of America. Warren Buffett's largest bank holding is in BAC. And if you're going to talk about money center banks, we already know the largest bank in the world for that is going to be JP Morgan, but second followed by BAC. So I feel like if this is a big holding, why not try to dip by some of this? You may want to put a bid down here near 25. But remember what happened with JP Morgan? A little slow on that one, Ramin. Came into play. JP Morgan with a great day just a couple days ago. Let's go over to a 15-minute as they came out and reported on Friday. So here's the move in the pre-market. Beautiful move on that number up to 152. And if we go back to the daily, that 150, 152, a very key level. But look what happened. If you're going to come with a good report and you're going to be supported by what people call America's favorite or best banker, don't know if that's true. I heard that on a podcast. So, but Jamie Dimon, look what they did to his stock that day. Came out, nice report. He was talking gloom and doom a little bit. Again, more on the macro side of things, saying that the world right now is potentially in some of the worst spot it's ever been in. Again, talking about Middle East, talking about China fears, and talking about the U.S. maybe being overextended into some of these. I don't want to say war because that is what they are, but let's just hope it doesn't escalate past some of the regions. And unfortunately, that's where it is right now. Hopefully it can be sort of left to those regions and not expanding further because China gets involved. We've heard some sort of back and forth talk about from Russia not liking what's happening. And we know Iran is involved as well, which brings me over to so I'm a little worried about the world, as we all, I feel like, should be. But again, JP Morgan holding out right now at this 147 area. I just feel like if JP Morgan, the best bank, came out with great numbers and got hit, I am a little worried about our friends over at BAC because their bank looking a little sickly compared to JP Morgan. JP Morgan's above the 50, above the 200, right? You're way under for these things. So I'm concerned about BAC tomorrow. But now that I talk about what's going on with OIH and oil, again, not a bad move today. Actually, OIH is not going to be the story. It's USO today. Nice move up into $80. There was a little bit of a rally to end the day there, but still $79 above the 50 period. And we have sort of filled that gap down there. We did gap a little bit lower that one day, which gave a lot of us some worries. And then all of a sudden gap higher, unfortunately, last week. We know that. Now gapping up again, trying to get back into $80 for USO. Let's see if that name can continue to go through. through. So, all right, trade talk time. I don't have anybody today. You only got me today, so sorry about that, but we'll see if we can get going. Why did we want to talk about our trade bias? I think this is something that's very, very important. We've actually, if we call up into my profile right now, we just actually released this. If you're going to go over to the Ultimate Trade Prep Checklist, it's right here. It actually takes you over to Instagram. Thank you again, over 11,000 views. And thank you to Ramin for this very nice picture right here. I feel that you got to go over to this and read through some of these steps that we're talking about. Let's let Instagram load up here as it goes through. So again, define entry and exit points. We've talked about that. Stop loss, risk to reward ratio. But this is sort of brings me to our next step. And we haven't done, there's 7 steps here. Go through them to find out for it. No unforeseen surprises. Well, guess what? You're going to get surprises in the news feed. Now, the thing about all of this is I am a little bit biased right now, and you can probably hear it, a little more negative right now as opposed to in the past. Someone's called me a perma bear on the chat. That's definitely not true. I am always net long. My long-term portfolio is biased long. It only has longs. So we're long everything. All the tech names, we're long a couple banks. But that doesn't mean that we're putting new money to work right now, because we are not. We had recently bought some dips in Amazon and in Oracle, but I am nervous for a lower pullback. So look at the triple Qs. We keep on bouncing off of 350 here. Okay, but why I wanted to talk about trade talk here to my bias was in the trade that we actually did today. And we chose the TQs. I'm always going to trade this because I feel like when I'm trading with you guys out there, we want to get a little bit more action. And if I could trade something that's 2 or 3 times the relative move in the market, I just feel like that's better for the show and honestly better for me, because we have to close our trades at the end of every single day. So let's go over to the trade talk now and go over my bias. Well, look, the long down here actually looks the same as the short. Let's actually take off, we don't need the data editor. Let's take off these fills so I can show you exactly what I mean now by having a bias. I'm waiting for the short to come in, especially into the afternoons, okay? The reason why is it gives us the levels from the morning that we can play off of. And if the NASDAQ wants to rip all afternoon, that's fine. We'll short it near the high and get out as we take out the high, and we'll flip into longs possibly if that does happen. But as you can see right here today, here's the market opening up, right? So again, market nice open. Huge aggressive move all the way back. But then we ran to the top of the day up here in the TQs, $39 or so. So when we pulled back, look at these longs off VWAP. If you're biased to the long side, you can look at this. We kept on bouncing, 38.40, take the long. So you'd be long here, 38.50, nice upside moves, giving you 20 cents, play the pullback, boom, right back into the high of the day. If you're biased long, man, you know what I'm telling you? It's this chocolate. Obviously, it's not rocket science, making me more thirsty, which is probably a good thing. Flush everything out. These are only 500 milliliters, so, we pound that back pretty easily right there. But I'm biased to the short, so what we wind up doing is being very, very patient. And I say this just for fun, not for fun on the show, but kind of for fun. It just takes one good trade. And this is not throwing shade at myself, who gets in and out a whole bunch of times. Throwing shade at Neil, getting in and out a bunch of times. It depends on your position and your bias, but I feel like it takes one good trade. With that being said, these TQs rifled up the board for the P&L today because we were very, very patient and we just kept shorting every time it came in. Now, the short doesn't look like it's that huge, but look what happens. We did get a push down. We did get a push down. So now let's put on our bias here and show. Remember, purples are going to be fills. So right into here. Here's where you could have bought dips. We talked about that. Buying these dips, taking the long. Buying dips, you probably get stopped out there, but maybe you buy it through VWAP again. Again, a pretty successful trade. But look what we did. Short, boom, back into those bottoms. Thank you very much. Let it go back up into the high of the day. Short it again, boom, out, right? Comes back in. Look, the same levels. This is a daily, this is our chart just for today, a 1 minute, came back in short. So when we're going short here at 84, our stop is like 90s, man. So when it pulls back, like that's 77, that's already 1-to-1, let alone when we get this action back down to the downside, which is sometimes why it's gonna be like, you'll hear me getting out, because it does pull back. So when these happen, we are starting to execute into our bias. When we get a bump up, thankfully, our short was we were almost flattened on this trade, by the way, on the TQs, right into there. We were giving it into 39, a little bit higher than that. It went to 39 flat there. Could have got stopped out, but there's the flush back in, giving us these VWAP trades. So when we're getting short here at 95, let's just give it 10 cents worth of risk. Our outs there, not the greatest, but 75s, definitely topping it off into the end of the day. So we put together some pretty good trades there. And I just wanted to say that I feel like, although we say often on the shows, I try to adjust this. By the way, shout out to everybody here. I just want to say, I'll hit this. You do want to make sure that you do have some of your biases that do hit you in the market, because if you're going to trade there all stressed out, playing every single tick, it's not going to work. You're going to want to go a little bit longer time frame and make sure you do have a trading bias. And some of the stuff you'll read will say, take away your biases. But I don't think that's a good idea. I feel like if you get to highs or lows of the day, you are going to want to make sure that you execute against some of those. And if you get stopped out, man, you get stopped out. That's going to happen sometimes. Stop outs are part of the game, but if you don't put your money where your mouth is, then you're never going to know, hey, was I right with conviction? I think that's really super important, but definitely have your outs. Do not be, and here's a good word for all of us, stubborn. Shout out to my kids, who I feel are stubborn more often than not. But that's just my little talk there about bias. And here's another one. Apple today, we were biased to the short side. I'm concerned about China. I'm concerned about weaker iPhone sales. So here's my Apple chart for the whole day, right? Was the short wrong? Not really. You know, it was wrong at points. And again, if you're long bias, wait for these dips, buy these dips, right? Into the low of the day, buy these dips, take it back up, or just be patient and hit some of these shorts like we did there at the end of the day. I think it's very important to have a trading bias. Okay, we just did that, trading talk a little bit. What? Only 1 minute left. My apologies, we didn't even get over anything. I didn't realize that we went on a little bit of a tangent there for that, but hey, I'm Sean, welcome to my world. Micron, quickly, again, $70. Bias to the short side, plus key level, Micron 70, take it, look at this. Here's one stop out. Look where we're short, 69.90, right? Take some outs. The best we get are like 80s. The pullback to the 50 period would have been 73. But there it is. We get stopped out when it breaks, but it doesn't break with vigor, doesn't break with volume, as you can see at the bottom side. So we re-shorted it, and then boom, what was a 10-cent hit turned out to be a nice little dollar level there. So stock blitz, my own stock blitz, coming through for Micron. Play the short. We got some out at the end of the day. And look what happened here at the end. We had to cover, but down to 69, give you that dollar club for Micron. Be patient. We were patient at 11 o'clock until our first trades on Micron came into play there. Good trade. We should have reshorted it there. That's Micron. That is the trade. And quickly before we go, I'm going to get that whistle in a couple seconds. I understand that. But let's go to compare your profits. Let's see who made the most money here on Friday. Obviously, your boy wasn't here on Friday. Doesn't mean that there wasn't a lot of money to be made. Someone at Day Trade the World. Hello, we got to wrap this thing up. I'm happy with that. $15,000, $7,000, $6,000. Again, shout out to my European friends. There's someone traded Amsterdam, Brussels, Milan, Paris, etc. And look, remember, here at Day Trade the World, we have stop losses, right? So when I show these numbers, you're not going to be like, wow, I saw on YouTube some clown posted that they made $90,000 and they made sure that they put it big writing there on YouTube. I made 90 grand. The thing is let's just talk about this seriously. If you made 90 grand and that was like an average day for you, would you be really posting that up on YouTube? Would you be spending hours and hours editing that clip just because you want to show people that you're the man? Or are you trying to sell something, pretending like you actually I know Ramin's going off on this. Or are you actually trying to pretend like you made 90,000? Not that there's not people that do that, but we've seen the SEC come after some of those characters. Notice, we're real. All my trades are not in sim mode. They're live executed trades. And if you can follow the ticks, hey, we've now been on YouTube for, I think it's been something like 3 years. I have almost 50,000 followers. We have over 400,000 on this. We have not gotten one note about any of the trades that we put on because they're all verified, they're all checked out, and if you follow me every single day, you know what's good. So I'll put a bang for myself for that one there. I'm very confident in what we do here live on the show, which is why we continue to have bang up guests. Man, vet us and let's go. I love this business and this is what I'm passionate about. So thank you so much to everybody in the chat for having a great market recap show. If I check the likes and we're sub 300, this show may cease to exist. 274, 26 more likes, and I'll put this show on tomorrow. If not, then maybe hey, look, some of you will be haters and won't hit the like button anyways. But thank you so much to everybody that's here. Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls, who's the best. I said to put some, I don't even know if we talked about this. We did put some questions for Brian Shannon. Thank you, Bears vs. Bulls, for getting those out. We do always do something with Bears every single day, and it's the Super Chats. So let me call that up. I do want to thank everybody. The show is great because of you. All right, it's the traders out there that keep us going. So I want to say thank you so much. I'm passionate about everything, and I apologize if I misspoke about some of that. Look at the Super Chats. This must not be just from today, and if it is, I want to say thank you so much to everybody. We had Daniel Shea on. I'm not even going to read, well, I guess Ian, Kyle, Mohammed, Susanna, Willis, Python, The Hayes Records, Kyle, 007, Kyle, I see you, bang. Sailor Moon, Ramin's favorite show. Laura Rogers is here. Yvonne, Hampton's Trader. Ian Rispetto again. 2 shots for you, my friend. Kyle, new member as well. Joseph, Ed, F, Huang, Realtor, Super Devlin, man. I'm a super gremlin. Rogers here as well. Shout out to Stock Up. Yeah, we're hoping for stock ups as well. 1.5K watching. Hopefully you have a little bit more likes. Thank you so much. So now, my wife never wants to talk about NFL. I think she must have took a big hit. She says, down with FanDuel. I say up with FanDuel. Why? I like today. It's going to be Dallas versus the LA Chargers. I almost said San Diego there. Both very high-flying teams. I think off of a bye week for the Chargers, they're going to come out with hot fire. I like Keenan Allen at plus 140 for an anytime touchdown. I like Tony Pollard at minus 160, the Dallas running back for an anytime touchdown. And I do like the over of 50 if you can get that number. It's about 50.5, 49.5 would be even better. I like the over tonight. I think there's going to be lots of scoring on a busy Monday night. So again, thank you so much for watching. Dare I check the likes? Let me see what we got on right now. It's almost 400, so I say thank you so much to everybody. The show must go on. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Traders stay late. I'm Sean Catino. Follow me at X, at TraderTVSean, on Instagram as well, at TraderTVSean. Thank you for everything. DM me if you want to come on the show as well. Traders stay late. This has been the Market Recap Show. Thanks, Ramin, for staying late with us as well. Production stays late, I should say. That should be another hashtag. Thank you so much. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Ciao.